Hey guys, King of Charmander here, Tail of your judge, your jury, and your analyst, and today I bring to you the most powerful Altaria team in Open Great League. Altaria, as we know, has been a top Pokemon for a very long time. Since the preseason, since Season 1 up until now, it's literally dominated many cups, and the reason why it's so good is because it has a tremendous amount of bulk, an incredibly powerful fast attack and Dragon Breath, and now has the ability to debuff with Moonblast along with Sky Attack. So it has a great moveset and great overall stats and is incredibly powerful. This team ranked at number 4, so number 4 overall. Strongest Altaria team having the Altaria into it, and it's very impressive because Altaria wasn't like the Walrein Trev core dominated a lot of the top teams. So now to see an Altaria team at a high level, that's pretty interesting. So I wanted to do a shoutcast on it, and you're going to see a lot of really sweaty battles. But you're also going to see a lot of like mistakes that I will make, or like things that I try to make up, and just like how you can find win conditions out of seemingly almost really rough situations. But before we get started, this is the most powerful Altaria team. But before we get started, this is my therapist mental health tip of the day. As I always say, you can skip this. All you have to do is go to chapters if you really don't want free psychoeducation, which would otherwise cost hundreds of dollars per therapy session. Well, go up to you. But for those of you that do stay, and for those of you that like this, because I'm really glad my community likes it when I tell these things, because like only one less. Okay, so two things I'm going to do here. One, less than 1% of the world are mental health professionals. In other words, they can ethically do psychotherapy. Life coaches cannot actually do psychotherapy for you because of the fact that they are not licensed to do psychotherapy. It's not ethically done. So you could technically sue your life coach if they try to give you mental health advice because they aren't mental health professionals. Just like with every licensed or medical profession, we therapists, or psychotherapists, have our own professions that will regulate, and also we have to answer to. So even though we have a very independent practice, it's a very unsupervised job, because even in individual supervision, your supervisor is not going to be in the therapy room with you when you're doing therapy sessions all the time, unless you're doing a joint section or unless it's group therapy. So yes, that's why this job is very difficult, because of all the stuff you have to do before you get to it. But along with that, there's also the second thing I have. It's perfectionism. So perfectionism, the belief that everything must be perfect all the time. You generally want to stay away from a perfectionist because they will crush them. Well, not stay away from them, but when their goals aren't achieved, they feel crushed. And this is because they set impossible goals. It's really unhealthy because someone that strives to... I lost my train of thought. Someone that strives to be their best will set challenging but achievable goals. So yes, those with perfectionist tendencies are often resistant to change, believing these tendencies are strength. Yes, being perfectionist is actually bad because you will give yourself a lot of anxiety and stress. Digging deeper, they find that perfectionism, and this is from studies, contributes to a number of problems, including procrastination, stress, anxiety, and depression. So this handout will show you what perfectionism is. If you find yourself needing to be perfect on every single turn, like literally even in Go Battle League, which is even worse because Go Battle League is very rock, paper, scissors and does depend on luck because we don't have items and abilities to make up for it or specific strategies unless it's like you know a lot about PvP. So once you do psychoeducation, therapeutic interventions such as recognizing strengths and CBT may be used to help promote change for a perfectionist. So if you're a perfectionist, this will really help you a lot. And again, I'm going to put this in the description so you can check it out below. Without further ado, this is the strongest Altaria team for Open Great League, and let's get started. Alright, here are the battles. These are hella sweaty. I don't know why. As you see, we got Walrein, Altaria, and my big golden bird from Taiwan is going to lose, and we're going to switch into Ready Steel. Ready Steel is going to be generally your safe switch for everything. Zap Cannon and Focus Blast, even if you don't happen to win the matchup, you can at least debuff him and try to create some kind of win condition. But yes, my burb is actually from Taiwan. I went to Taiwan Go Fest at Chimay Museum the first time, a few years ago. It was the only time, the first time they had it at Chimay Museum. It was a whole lot of fun. But I caught a whole lot of burbs, and I caught this shiny burb that's ranked 66, so I was like, yes, let's go! Too bad it's not ranked 69, though. That made me a little sad. We're going to fire the Zap Cannon here. We're going to grab a debuff, and then we're going to take the second Thunderbolt. Yeah, the Thunderbolt was already debuffed, but you can't take 2. So I'll just take 1, and then what I'm trying to do here is undercharge, and all we want to do is win back alignment. If we line up that Walrein against Scrafty, we should be doing well, and we're able to get to this second Zap, actually the third Zap Cannon here against the Sableye. This will debuff the Sableye, and then we should be able to put the Sableye against our Altaria. Because Sableye is debuffed -1, it can eat a foul play. It can also eat a return. So I'm not going to shield here. Altaria, you already know you've played it a lot, or you've played against it a lot. It's super bulky. And my Willy Wonka Golden Goose of Destiny is going to go ahead and try to Dragon Breath down my opponent. I'm mashing the Sky Attack. This is likely a foul play. I'm not going to shield the foul play. However, I have to be careful because my opponent's going to try to sight me down. So that's a good example. That play right there is a good example of just being aware. If your opponent has something that's super effective, like a Walrein here, double super effective, and they put you in a red, they're likely going to try to snipe you down. So they're going to switch in quickly and try to fast move you down. All I have to do here is power punch my opponent to death. However, I'm aware that my opponent still has a shield. So we're going to get 1 power up punch here just so that we can go ahead and get +1 and threaten that Sableye in the back. Because of my awareness and my reflexes, you have to really, if you want to beat the top, the best of the best, you have to be able to take out your opponent. It's not like, basically you have to have really fast reflexes. I'm going to freaking beat the unholy crap out of this poor Sableye, literally just going a straight power punch. This is likely a foul play. Because it's double resisted, Scrafty will live. So Scrafty lives this foul play. We're going to fire off this power punch. My opponent has to shield this, otherwise they'll die because this is a +3 power punch. And then all I'm going to do is combo break. Well, actually, I'm not going to have to combo breaker because unfortunately my Scrafty dies. But all we're going to do is send in our Burb, and that Altaria, that Sky Attack we have banked will allow Altaria to KO this Sableye, and that's GG's. That was a mega sweaty battle. But yes, if you have it, make sure if you're in order to be top players, you have to be aware really quickly of what's going on, or like have a 10,000 IQ play. Think ahead, basically. And as you see, thinking ahead, we lose the lead again against a Stunfisk. I would say Stunfisk is actually, no. Stunfisk is actually worse than Walrein, in my opinion. All you're going to do here is you're going to switch into Registeel. Registeel is going to be your safe switch. You are going to straight focus blast the unholy crap. You're going to summon the power of Goku and Spirit Bomb the unholy crap of this poor Stunfisk. Don't summon Krillin, otherwise you're going to end up dead. Because Krillin dies more times than... God, I don't even know what to compare it is. Like, the dude, Krillin's been sent to the Shadow Realm so many times, I don't even know, man. It's like, I mean, I know Yamcha has, like, if you watch Dragon Ball Z, you know what I'm talking about. I know Yamcha has probably the most iconic death, you know, getting blown up, but other than that, Krillin dies way too much. They send in Trevenant, and I think my opponent made a mistake here. Like, this is going to allow me to switch out, and we're going to bank Registeel. Because they're -1, Trev versus Reggie isn't a bad matchup just because, well, it's a bad matchup in a sense, but at the same time, as you see, Zapcan's able to do like half their HP, and you get the -1 debuff on them, allowing us to comfortably take the Shadow Ball against our Altaria. They send in a Deoxys defense, so we know we have a Stunfisk and a DD to deal with, which makes it kind of rough. However, because our Burb, Altaria, and Dragon Breath, or just Dragon Breath in general, does so much damage, I'm going to shield this first move here. Even if it's a Psycho Boost, that's fine. I want to do as much chip damage as I can, or force as many shields as possible for my opponent. As you see, we're going to fire off the Sky Attack. We want to break our opponent's shields now because they still have +2. So they're going to shield 1. I'm going to switch into Scrafty and bank my Altaria. My idea here is that if we can't get this foul play through because my opponent has to spend the shield and somehow I'm not going to be able to live with Scrafty, Altaria is still healthy enough to where maybe Registeel can fast move down this Deoxys defense. Sadly, my opponent does not call the bait because there's no point in baiting, and that's game. There's really no point in baiting there. I was able to get that extra energy with foul play, and I likely would have got to a second foul play anyways. So that's game, and yes, that's a good example of coming back from losing the leads with Altaria leads. But just because Altaria is so dang bulky, that's why it's so dang strong. Dragon Breath is one of the most powerful fast moves in the... Actually, it's the highest damning one-turn fast move in the game, and it's extremely powerful. As you see here, we got Sableye into our Altaria. I'm going to fire this Sky Attack and break a shield. This is likely a foul play, as my opponents try to break all my shields, and then I will even up on shields with them. Now they do something really fancy here. So as you see, I'm going to... This is why I'm like, oh... I should have known better. So they kept the Sky Attack, but it doesn't really matter because now I can go ahead and send in Scrafty, and now we can go ahead and just go to town. We can go ahead and Heavy Metal headbutt the unholy crap out of this thing, listening to... You know, one of my favorite bands nowadays is Bring Me the Horizon. Like Bring Me the Horizon. Like, if you don't know Bring Me the Horizon, it's a great alternative. I love alternative. I like all music except for country. Like, not all country is bad because I was in the military. You know what I mean? We when you work with special operations and you're attached to them, y'all listen to a lot of country. So, as you see here, we take out the poor little pancake, the Heavy Metal pancake, and we get in a Medicham XL, which is absolutely terrible for us. So, as you see here, I'm going to foul play. Our Scrafty is like +1. So we're going ahead and going to foul play and try to break some shields. I try to switch in a Registeel just to catch a move, but as you see, this Medicham's gonna get a power punch through. And then we're gonna go ahead and send in Registeel. I know they're going to sack. So I know they plan on sacking, and I have to call it. Well, yeah, that's basically my game. I have to call it. So as you see here, I go a little bit over and I fire. I try to undercharge it, but it's a terrible undercharge. Well, yeah, here's the undercharge. So I'm gonna undercharge. I want to force them to fire move anyways. So, but I should still have this game in the bag, but now I have to sack. So they sacked on me. So Broski flexed on me hella hard. So now I have to sack on them. Medicham fires a move, thinking I have a move ready, because no one counts, like seriously, one turn fast moves are annoying. I send in my Altaria, however, this Medicham's only +1, and then I sack on them. It's not going to be a complete sack, however, I don't want my Altaria to eat another power-up punch. Scrafty eats a power-up punch, and then all we're going to do is get farmed down, and then I should be able to send Altaria, and all we're going to do is farm down, and that's GG's. You see, you're fancy to me, however, that doesn't mean I can still come out with some win conditions. So yes, even if your opponent flexes on you and you think your win condition is locked, never give up hope. Never give up, never surrender. You know, like John Cena, you know what I mean? Even though you can't see John Cena. So now we got a Galvantula onto Altaria. I'm not sure why you would give up swap in that case, because Altaria versus Galvantula isn't that bad. Like, yeah, you kind of lose, but it's not that bad because especially with fast moves like Volt Switches going through no matter what, you have a really great match against Galvantula. So my opponent swaps in a pancake, and all I'm going to do is rev up right here. I'm going to power up punch down, and then we have a bazillion energy. I mean, not power punch down, just counter down. You know what I mean? Like, just be Fist of the North Star, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Jotaro Punch. No, that's literally all Jotaro Punch everything that's bad. So all we're gonna do is foul play here. We get an Azu, but that's perfectly fine. All we're gonna do is foul play the holy crap out of this poor little bunny. As soon as we reveal Registeel, they're probably going to top left. Let's be honest here. Because now that you gave up Switch, all I have to do is send Altaria onto that Galvantula and then keep Registeel on this Azu, and it's pretty much game over. Especially if this Azu doesn't have Hydro Pump. We switch out, and as I predicted, my opponent top lefts. If your opponent switches out like that, it's likely because they don't have Hydro Pump. Otherwise, your only win condition is to really just try to Hydro Pump me. But yeah, that's game. And for our last and final battle, we lose the lead again. We got the pancake. I've only won one lead in the entire shoutcast, and you're going to see a lot of pancakes. So hopefully, if you do happen to play this team, this most powerful Altaria team hopefully will give you some dubs. But as you see here, it's perfectly capable of coming back from losing leads, even if you have to lock in your Registeel against this poor pancake. And this is kind of scenario number 2. On the first G-Fisk battle you saw, they didn't shield the Focus Blast. On this one, they shield the first one. And my opponent might swap out. And as you see here, they catch my move. So they have an Altaria too. And as you see, this Altaria eats a move. And I'm like, ah, crap. All right. So that's actually going to bite me later on. We're going to be able to get to this Zap Cannon. However, it would have been ideal if I got to that Zap Cannon. As you see, my Zap Cannon goes through. And then I send in my Altaria to try and mirror. This is a misplay from hell, though. So here's why it's a misplay from hell. That G-Fisk can come in and possibly farm me down. I didn't realize this till later on, and Moonblast does a whole lot of damage on Altaria. This is because I don't play Altaria a lot, so because of that, I don't know how much Moonblast actually does, even if it's -1. Now I realize it did an incredible amount of damage. Rock Slide goes through, and my Sky Attack, I'm going to have to Sky Attack because there's no way I'm getting out of here. You see me try to attempt the Moonblast, however, because the debuff won't go through anyway, the debuff isn't guaranteed. I'm going to fire off the Sky Attack, and then we're just going to send in our Scrafty. So that's going to bite me later in the battle because I definitely needed that Zap Cannon. Remember I told you about fast reflexes? Well, this is kind of my fault too. I was lazy, admittedly, I was being very lazy on this shoutcast. Don't mash your charge. This is don't mash your charge moves. You see how I'm tapping above here? Always tap above and wait until you fire before. Because the second you take your finger off of before you fire a charge move, that split second can allow you to adjust and make mistakes. So I normally don't do that. I was just being lazy. So yes. Foul play goes through and we get a Sableye. This is terrible. So we already know that even this foul play at the red, foul play won't kill unless you're like red. Because it's double, foul play is double resisted. So as you see here, we're able to live the foul play. We fire off of this poor freaking, we fire this movement. I'm sending Registeel, and here's why I'm like groaning, because we're going to be able to get to a Focus Blast here. One foul play won't kill, but I'm definitely going to be pretty much red, super red. And then we're going to be able to fire this Focus Blast. The problem is here is that now we have to contend with basically that G-Fisk. That G-Fisk is going to be able to end my life. And it's likely going to be a simultaneous knockout because that G-Fisk was actually healthy enough to where my lock-on downs, I wasn't able to lock on down. And that's GG's. I hope y'all enjoyed the battles. And that's game. I hope y'all enjoyed the battles. For that last one, if you can't come out with a dub, at least try to force a simultaneous knockout. Sometimes you lose points for a simultaneous, for a tie. Sometimes, like, it just really depends. I've had it happen before. But we lost the lead anyways, and it was, not gonna lie, that was actually pretty dang rough because that was rough. And my opponent caught my Focus Blast, which is a result of it. If you're being, I likely won't do this during competitive or practice. However, when you're not trying as hard, well, I don't try hard nowadays. But when you're trying to play at optimum level, make sure you're making your reads, etc. It still can happen. You can still get sacked on right here like you saw me do, like you saw in this shoutcast, but you can always come back with a W. That, or you could try to like make it up and try to force a simultaneous knockout. But like kind of analyzing that battle again, even if I did fire 2 Zap Cannons, I actually know. If I fire 2 Zap Cannons, I probably likely would have won, but yeah, that's just the way of the battle. But yes, when you battle and you're trying and you want to make it really hard, make sure you do your best. But even in competition, like self-tournaments, etc., like in-person tournaments, like, actually it's weird because I haven't done it I've been to LA Mega, so I've been to the first huge tournament ever, in-person tournament ever, which had like 300 people in it. That's likely the biggest tournament now, because before Rona hit, that was definitely the biggest tournament in the world, because 300 people in California, yeah. And it was freaking awesome. But sadly, because of the way of the world and everything like that, so in-person tournaments probably aren't going to be like they used to. And I see a lot of people that I knew aren't probably going to play Pokemon Go anymore because they quit. So that's just what it is. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the battles. Hopefully this Altaria team does give you a sense, if you especially like Altaria, but also a good glimpse of losing the lead and still coming back with those dubs, because Altaria does have a thick booty. And as you see, Golden Willy Wonka Burr Booty is very strong in Open Great League. I hope y'all are enjoying Go Back. Season 12 is coming on soon, but it's not till September 1st. Other than that, I do wish you the best of luck in your Go Battle League sets, and I will see y'all on the next video.
Things that I have craved, these are what I could have seen.